Deputies accused of turning a blind eye to deadly conditions inside a jail.
You let a person freeze to death? No one did their job.
Then they paid for parking, but their cars still got booted.
We left the concert only to discover that we and about a dozen other cars had all been booted.
And a nail salon accused of breaking state and federal laws by not accepting a gift card.
They compared this gift card to an oil change coupon that you would get in the mail, which I feel like this is different.
When systems fail, people pay the price. We trace the damage, expose the truth, and fight to fix it. This is Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates. An inmate left cold, wet, and naked for days inside his jail cell, eventually dying from hypothermia. Atlanta News First investigative reporter Andy Parati reveals the jail security video that one family says proves the sheriff's office failed to do its job.
From the moment Anthony Lamar Walker arrived at the DeKalb County Detention Center in 2022,
his behaviors were very erratic over the last few days.
jail staff sensed something was off.
He bangs a lot, he yells a lot, and he paces a lot.
The 34-year-old wasn't eating. He urinated on his clothes and threw his food tray. His mom, Tony, says her son battled schizophrenia and believes he was going through a mental health crisis. According to his medical records, the jail knew he suffered from mental illness. It treated him before. Detained this time for alleged aggravated assault.
So I figured, okay, great. Not great that he's there, but at least he's somewhere I know where he is and he'll get medicated properly.
8 days after taking him into custody, deputies found Lamar unconscious. Jail records show medical staff didn't perform CPR.
He made contact with EMS and have EMS en route to the DeKalb County Jail. Reference to a possible deceased male inmate.
According to the DeKalb County Medical Examiner's Office, Lamar didn't die from physical trauma, an overdose, or by suicide. His cause of death, hypothermia. Found with no clothes on and cold to the touch the day after Christmas.
What was that like, hearing that he essentially froze to death?
Unbelievable. Like, I feel like I'm in a hell episode of The Twilight Zone. You let a person freeze to death? No one did their job.
Stay inside, stay warm if you can. This is pretty historic December cold for us.
Days before Lamar was found dead, jail staff sent this email reminding employees to prepare for the cold weather and to give inmates 2 blankets each.
And it was like really, it was cold, like really cold, because like sometimes even when I would walk through, I would have my, my jacket because it was like really cold.
And it'll feel like 5 below, so absolutely layer up as much as you can.
According to a wrongful death lawsuit filed in federal court, it claims the sheriff's office and medical staff failed to protect him, alleging Lamar received no medication, no mental health screenings, and did not adequately check on his well-being. This nurse claims she checked on Lamar around 7 a.m. hours before he was found dead.
And we had a small conversation. I think I asked him what have he been eating. And I said, put some clothes on.
According to the security video, that didn't happen. Watch closely. The nurse walks inside the jail pod shortly after 7 a.m., but never checked inside Lamar's cell before walking away.
And they did nothing. Like, how do you treat somebody like that? Just leave them in the cell on the floor, naked, when it's freezing. All you gotta do is open the door.
Tony knows the cell where her son died well. She was a DeKalb County deputy at the same jail for nearly 23 years, once awarded the Employee of the Month.
I used to be very proud of the fact that I worked there, but now I'm embarrassed. I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm deeply hurt.
DeKalb County Sheriff Melanie Maddox declined interview requests to discuss Lamar's case, and in an investigation by the sheriff's staff, found jail employees did not violate any policies.
Which is a real slap in the face.
Tony disagrees, and she wants to hold the sheriff's office responsible for her son's death.
So you telling me you saw no wrong with that when you didn't even do your job?
Andy, where does this case stand now?
According to Lamar's family, the case is still pending in federal court. And I know I mentioned this in the piece, but we reached out to the sheriff multiple times requesting some sort of comment and interview. They didn't respond, or they did not want to respond, but according to court filings, the sheriff claims that she is immune to this lawsuit because of sovereign immunity.
And so the sheriff can't be held responsible. This is actually in the Georgia Constitution, isn't it? This sovereign immunity. Not all states have this.
Right, and a lot of attorneys don't pick up these type of cases because of that.
That's a good point, because they're taking the cases on contingency, which means they don't get paid unless they win. And if they have to go up against sovereign immunity, they might not take the case to begin with.
That's right, and these cases take years sometimes to litigate.
You have been investigating jail deaths as long as I've known you, working here in Georgia, more than a decade now. Is there any common thread you're seeing? They happen way too often.
Yes, since 2022, almost 100 people have died in the four largest metro Atlanta jails. Fulton County has the most because it is the largest in the state. The common thread is that these are people that have not been convicted of a crime, and they're in these institutions, in these facilities, simply waiting for their day in court. And the common thread is a lot of them suffer from mental health issues, just like Mr. Lamar Walker. And another issue is that they often don't have a lot of money to hire someone to get them out quicker to wait for their day in court outside of a facility like a jail.
Since this is behind the investigation, we do have to point out, a lot of times people contact us and they'll say, somebody died in jail. And the question will be, well, this isn't prison, this is jail. And in most cases, other than people sentenced to a year or less, everyone in there is innocent till proven guilty, which means this isn't punishment. This isn't even, rehabilitation. Right. It's pre-trial detainment. But all humans deserve human decency, right?
And that's why I'm so fascinated about telling these stories, because oftentimes, if you are put in a facility like this and you have your day in court and you're found not guilty, that should be the end of it. But sometimes you go into these overcrowded jails, they don't have the resources. A huge portion of these individuals are indigent. They come in here already sick. They come in these facilities with a lot of mental health issues, and they're not getting the help that they need.
Well, I know you're going to stay on it. Thanks, Andy.
Atlanta News First Investigates cares about the community and issues impacting you. Scan the code on your screen to share a story you think we should investigate. If it's one we can help with, we'll reach out to you.
Hey, excuse me, how long y'all been out here?
Concert goers prepaid for parking on Ticketmaster, but were still booted. We investigate the failure that left dozens of drivers stuck in a parking lot for hours.
If you prepay for parking through a ticket app, you could still get booted. It happened to a dozen drivers at a show in Buckhead. Atlanta News First consumer investigator Better Call Harry reveals what to do if it happens to you.
Everybody pay, right?
Take a look at this body cam video from the viewpoint of an Atlanta police officer who's trying to help. The guy in the blue shirt on the left works for a booting company, Empire Parking Services, or EPS. They are one of the major parking enforcement companies in Metro Atlanta. You may have seen these guys monitoring parking lots, watching for drivers' time to expire, or waiting for someone to park at a shopping center, then leave to shop somewhere else. But none of it applies to this group. About a dozen people in this parking lot bought tickets to see comedian Chris Fleming perform at the Buckhead Theater. Everybody here says they prepaid for parking on Ticketmaster's app. Ticketmaster told them to park at the old IHOP on Peachtree. They did, and they got booted during the 2:30 p.m. show.
Hey, excuse me, how long y'all been out here?
It is now 6:30 p.m., and they've been stuck for an hour and a half. Mark Mobley says the show foreshadowed the event.
Ironically, toward the end of his set, he did a whole set about booting. So it was this elaborate series of jokes about how powerful people who boot feel. And we left the concert only to discover that we and about a dozen other cars had all been booted.
Mark returned to his car to find boots on 2 tires.
Both wheels.
And home is an hour and a half away in Athens.
Did they ever admit that you paid for your space?
No. No, we all have the confirmation from Ticketmaster. In some cases, the confirmation included a picture of the lot we were parked in. I mean, it's called the IHOP lot because there's a dead IHOP.
They had proof, but according to what the EPS manager said, the confirmation never came through. When you prepay, Ticketmaster notifies the parking management company, and it's one you may know, Lasgo or Laz. They manage lots all over Metro Atlanta. Lasgo is supposed to tell the booting company about the payments, but in this situation, someone failed to communicate.
But you do acknowledge they all paid, right?
The booting employee nods and says, yeah, but it would take some time to get it resolved. Eventually they did, thanks to a persistent Atlanta police officer who wasn't having it. Any of it.
I mean, we used to like the boot guys up in Zone 5 for doing that. Code 12, all the boots have been taken off. All is forgiven.
Yeah.
Mark got home late, but at least he got a parking refund through Ticketmaster.
It really doesn't faze me because this feels like a one-off to me, unless Empire's doing this all the time.
We reached out to Ticketmaster, Empire Parking Services, and Laz several times. None of them responded.
So, Harry, what happened to all the other cars that got booted?
That is what we'd like to know. We contacted everybody we could. We contacted Empire Parking Services. We don't know if they got refunds or not, but the person that we did, he pushed it and he got himself a refund. So we're hoping for the best, but if not, they can contact us, which reminds me, somebody else did after seeing this story. They parked in a different parking deck for a Georgia Tech game, and they also bought tickets online and through the ticket provider, parked where they were supposed to, and the game started at 3. The start time changed for parking. So they got approval to park from 2:30 to midnight, and then it was somehow changed while they were at the game to start time at 5 p.m.
For a 3 p.m. game.
For a 3 p.m. game. So this is not the first time this has happened, and we're looking into that too. And if you have booting issues, of course we want you to reach out to us.
Yeah, better call Harry.
We want to hear about it.
So the question then becomes, what should I do? Should I avoid buying the parking through these ticket providers and try to get my parking directly?
I would. I'm sure most people have it's fine, but and here's one case, and now we have 2 cases where there was a hiccup. But instead of buying directly from a lot, if you're buying from the ticket provider, you're going from them to another parking services company, and then that information has to trickle down to the booting company so that everybody's on the same page. And that appears to what happened here is that the booting company didn't get the memo.
Right, so the people who own the lots aren't the ones doing the booting. There are booting companies who sell their services to these lots.
Oh, yeah.
They collect the money, and then I assume they kick some amount back, legally, of course, to the lot.
Listen, we'd love to see the contract on how this actually works, but yeah, I mean, these companies are hired to boot people, and I mean, they make money booting people. That's their business model.
Which is also why they don't want to take the boot off without payment, because then they don't get anything.
Correct, and you should always make that payment like this gentleman did with a credit card, because at least you can dispute it. How lucky will you be? Well, if you have the documentation and you have the ticket printout that shows that you were parked within that time frame and that you didn't violate or go past the deadline, then you should be able to get.
Should you also call the police?
You can call the police.
I mean, they'll make a report at least.
I mean,
if they don't take action, they'll make a report, and you can use that hopefully to get your money back.
Well, they have a certain amount of time. Like in the city of Atlanta, they have to respond, I believe, within 30 minutes. Another person that we interviewed brought up a safety issue. Like it was a woman who contacted us. She's like, that 30 minutes that I waited
for the booting company
to show up in a darkened or in a parking lot, and I didn't have access to anything. It becomes a safety issue. So you want to get this done as soon as possible. Would I have waited 2 hours or an hour and a half like these other people did to dispute it? No, I would have paid it, and I would have disputed it on the credit card, which is what some people did. But I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, this makes the case for ride sharing to an event. And it also, like, if you're going to park someplace, I would park someplace where you're not booted, where you pay, the gate goes up, or it's a flat rate, you go into a parking deck, and that's it. Because you're not getting out unless you pay, or you have already paid. Is that clear?
You might think that gift card in your wallet expired. The business might tell you it did, but federal and state law says they have to honor it. We investigate your rights next on Uncovered.
Gift cards are the perfect present when you're not sure what to buy someone or if you're simply out of time. But they're also supposed to be valid for several years. But Atlanta News First investigative reporter Anastasia almost found out not all businesses know about this requirement. She explains the law and how you can protect your money.
She's not someone who typically does things for herself, so I wanted to make sure that I got her something she had to use at an actual nail salon.
Nathaniel Sunholm thought he bought his wife the perfect gift when she graduated with a PhD in June 2024.
I went to a small business and got this gift certificate with the expectation that she'd be able to go a couple times.
$300 to the Lush Nails and Spa in Ansley Park. She used about $100 a few months later and kept the receipt. But when she went back to get her nails done before the birth of their baby a year later,
they denied her services because they told her that the gift card had expired, which was really frustrating for her because she wanted to have her nails done for delivery day to hold our newborn.
Nathaniel says he called and was told the $195 left on the certificate had expired.
They compared this gift card to an oil change coupon that you would get in the mail, which I feel like this is different, but maybe I'm wrong.
He's not wrong. There's a difference between money put on gift cards and promotional cards. Under federal law, store gift cards and general use prepaid cards such as Visa or MasterCard cannot expire for at least 5 years. In Georgia, the store must also print the expiration date and any additional fees on the card. When Nathaniel wrote a Google review about the gift certificate mishap, an employee responded, "We are sorry that your gift card expired 1 year ago, plus used some of it already. We give our customers plenty of time, 1 year, to use gift card."
I filed an official complaint with the Georgia Consumer's Office, but they give a 6 to 8 week turnaround, which is well after my wife would have been delivering our baby.
The Georgia Attorney General's office confirmed they received Nathaniel's complaint. When Atlanta News First Investigates went to the nail salon on 2 separate occasions, a manager told us they get to choose when the gift card expires and asked us to leave. We then found the name of the owner who registered the business with the state and gave her a call. Are you currently at the store?
No, I'm not. I'm overseas right now.
So we explained the situation. We're just trying to figure out, why the store is not complying with federal law.
We have our own way to do our gift card.
So legally, you are supposed to accept the gift card for 5 years from the date of purchase.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm listening.
Okay. So if he comes back and tries to use the rest of the gift card, it's about $200. Will you honor the rest of the gift card?
Yes.
That's fine. Yes.
The Georgia Attorney General's office advises people to first contact the business to try to resolve the issue. If that doesn't work, submit a complaint with their consumer division. Violations of consumer-related laws can result in a $2,000 fine per violation.
Thanks to you, we now know he can use the gift card. Is he going to go back and use it?
Yep, I sent him a text. I said, this is what I found out. He gave me the gift card, the gift certificate, and he said, I guess I'll need it back because he does plan on sending his wife in to get her pedicure.
I see. So you used it essentially as a prop for the story, but now you got to give it back to him because he thought it was useless.
He thought it was done for. He'd tried everything except for calling us. And so, you know, even in talking to the Attorney General's office, they said, you know, we can confirm that we have this complaint. And so you've got to let them do their investigation, figure out who owns the business and why they're not honoring it. Are there other people who are also missing out on their gift certificate funds, and see the scope of what's going on there. We needed a solution a little bit faster, so that's when we found the name of the owner, found her cell phone and gave her a call. You know, she mentioned she wasn't in the country, and we explained the law to her a few times. You heard a little bit in that phone call, and she said, okay, we'll honor it. So it seems like, you know, they weren't intentionally, you know, saying, no, we're not following the law. It just seems like there was an education opportunity there, and we were there to educate.
You can listen to all of our extended conversations on these stories right now on our podcast, Behind the Investigation. Just search Atlanta News First on your favorite podcast platform. You're watching Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, a weekly hour-long investigative show with new episodes launching every Sunday at 7.